Saturday, Sunday, and what a day in New England. Sunny and 75 as the Cleveland Browns and New England Patriots begin to play out their Super Bowl dreams. Hello, everyone. Dick Enberg with Paul Maguire and Phil Simms all the way to Super Bowl 30 in Arizona. Cleveland was the nemesis for New England a year ago. Bill Parcells' team won 7 in a row. They lost in Cleveland, won 7, lost again in the playoffs. They've had a lot of time to think about that.
That's right. They've been stewing over those losses. I think there are 2 factors that decide football games in the National Football League: emotions and intangibles, and they are definitely on the side of the New England Patriots today. They lost both games last year down in Cleveland. Today it's at home in front of their home fans. Opening game of the year. All that is riding on the side of the New England Patriots. So if Cleveland wins, one of 2 questions will be answered. Maybe we overestimated the New England Patriots, but if Cleveland wins, maybe they are ready to go to the Super Bowl.
Well, they've been singing Super Bowl along the banks of Lake Erie. Meanwhile, New England, they're having to check their programs. A lot of new faces here.
You know, Dick, one of the things in the National Football League is consistency. When you have expansion teams, the reason they don't win for 2 or 3 years is because you got 11 new guys on offense, 11 new guys on defense. You try to pull these people together. Look at New England. 13 new faces on this team, 7 on offense and 6 on defense. Now, Bill Parcells says we bettered our football team. Maybe so. We will see today.
Well, it always comes down to the quarterbacks, too. And Phil Simms, you've had your eye on Drew Bledsoe at 22, leads the league in passing yards, and Vinny Testaverde of the Browns.
Well, Drew Bledsoe, an exceptional start at such a young age in his career in the National Football League. But last year against Cleveland, 1 touchdown and 7 interceptions. He wants to come out today and prove that he can play top quality notch quarterback in this league against this tough Cleveland Brown defense. On the other side, Vinny Testaverde had one of his best games of his career last year in the playoffs against the New England Patriots. Did hardly nothing wrong. Talking to him yesterday, he was all smiles talking about this Cleveland Brown team and especially the addition of Andre Rison. He knows if it goes right, he plays well, they can go to the Super Bowl.
That offense is much improved, Paul.
Oh, are they? Lorenzo White at halfback. They got Andre Rison at the receiver. Their Turner, their all-pro defensive back is there. And special teams, Bill Belichick said, we were #1 last year. We are going to be a better special team this year.
The New England Patriots will receive, as you look at Cleveland Browns coach Bill Belichick and his former mentor, Bill Parcells, now here in New England. Matt Stover to kick it off. And 1995 underway. A spinner down to Troy Brown of the Patriots. The wide receiver, is he hammered, stays on his feet, and drives to the 28-yard line. And Benny Thompson, who made the tackle, is down. Drew Bledsoe set out, and here the offensive set for the New England Patriots. Bledsoe protected by this offensive line. Shy a starter today. Pro Bowler Bruce Armstrong on the left side with Kratz, former Dolphin Dellenbach at center. Rucci and Max Lane for Pat Harlow. Harlow with a bad ankle. The offensive backfield with Bledsoe. Sam Gash at fullback, and the rookie from Pittsburgh, Curtis Martin, the running back, had a great summer. Vincent Brisby and Will Moore from the CFL are the wide receivers, and Ben Coates, who led the AFC in catches with 96 last year at tight end. Meggett comes in along with Kevin Lee when they go to the 3 wide, as Benny Thompson, a special team star, off under his own power. Coates and Burke, 2 tight ends started. Here's the hit. Thompson, 37 on Brown. Helmet to face mask, and Thompson still on the recovery, drags down the return man from the 28. The get is to the rookie Curtis Martin, and does he make a debut run all the way to the Cleveland 42? 30-yard run for Curtis Martin.
Yeah, Curtis Martin, they said he adds one thing to this team, the speed to the outside. He's moving to the outside. Look, he sees the hole back inside, and then he breaks it back. Breaks 2 tackles, and he's off and running. He gets the ball down to the 42-yard line. This is what they expected him to do. This is what he's going to do.
What an auspicious start for the 203-pounder, drafted in the 3rd round. Bledsoe's first pass over the middle, complete for about 10 more yards as Vincent Brisby, who caught 58 a year ago, has his first of the new year.
Drew Bledsoe drops back, good play action fake, stands tall and waits for the receiver to come open and sticks the ball in there between defenders.
Well, what happens is on Brisbane is on Don Griffin. Don Griffin, watch, he lets him go. And when he goes inside, he's supposed to have help from the linebacker and also the safety. They didn't get there.
It's a first down at the 31-yard line. Martin in the backfield. His run of 30 is longer than any all last year by New England. He stuffed this time after a couple of yards just inside the 30 as Anthony Pleasant led the charge for the Cleveland Browns. And here they are defensively. Rob Burnett, who had 10 sacks a year ago to lead the team. Goad, the former Patriot, is playing on the nose with Dan Footman moved inside. Anthony Pleasant had 11 sacks 2 years ago. Banks and Johnson, former Giants under Parcells. Dixon, the other linebacker. Langham and Griffin at the corners. Moore and Eric Turner, who just joined the team Thursday, at safety. So Tim Jacobs comes in the nickel. On second and long, Martin. And make it Dave Meggett as Meggett makes his first carry for the New England Patriots, and the Browns are ready for him. Goad and Footman make the hit at the 27-yard line.
Well, I expected to see Dave Meggett today start out in the passing game, but right there we saw a little trying to trick up the defense, trapping inside, something that New England wants to do against this Brown defense.
Third down and 6. Meggett and Gash split behind Bledsoe. They pick up the blitz, and what a throw. Bledsoe first down at the 20-yard line to Ben Coates, the big tight end who grabbed 96 a year ago.
Ben Coates was his guy to drop off last year. When you got two linebackers who are trying to cover. Dixon is out there trying to cover. Look at this. And Pepper Johnson. You have two linebackers trying to make the play. They can't do it. Lots of linebackers converge now on Ben Coates. Meggett's going out to the left, but Coates is there, makes the play, but that was a great throw.
Impressive start for the New England offense. First down at the Browns 20. Misdirection, and Curtis Martin gains 3 into the arms of the veteran Pepper Johnson of the Browns.
Those first two passes today by Drew Bledsoe, good start by him. But what we saw right there, what Vincent Brisby told us yesterday, the strength of his arm, he can stick it in some tight spots.
He says, you know what's coming. You better be ready.
Defend yourself.
Wasn't Belichick funny yesterday? We walked in. He said, all right, what are you going to do defensively? He says, you tell me what they're going to do with Meggett on offense. If you don't tell me about Meggett, I'm not telling you about our defense.
He wanted some help. They're worried about Meggett, and he'll cause some problems for the defensive coaches around the league. Bledsoe fires complete to Coates, and it's a first and goal Patriots at the Browns 7-yard line.
We see right away the influence Dave Meggett has on the defense. Carl Banks opens up the hole for the tight end. Drew Bledsoe sees it and sticks it in there to him.
Pepper Johnson making the tackle along with Eric Turner, who does start despite the fact he had only 2 days of practice. Meggett given a breather. First and goal for New England. Martin and Gash shifting. Bledsoe. Don Griffin on the coverage of Vincent Brisby. A lot of contact. No flag.
What New England's trying to do right here is something they kind of took from Miami. The wide receiver is going to go out tight man coverage, fakes him on it, and Drew Bledsoe's trying to throw it to his back shoulder on a line before the defensive back can react.
You know, Dickie, you're talking about hitting people down there. Brisby comes down. He pushes off of Griffin. Griffin pushes off of him. So it's obvious that the officials are going to let these guys play.
Very impressive opening drive. 8 plays, 66 yards. Second and goal. Out of the backfield, Martin. There's a Meggett. It's Dave Meggett, and he gains about 5. No touchdown. Down by contact. Eric Turner.
Here's the influence that Phil was talking about with Meggett and what he brings to the table. He goes in motion, and when he does, he's already to the outside. The linebackers can't get there yet. They have to rely on the defensive back, which is Turner, number 29, to come up and make the play. But actually, Meggett was covered by a linebacker who couldn't get there.
Meggett, who brings his average of 1,440 yards a season from the Giants to New England. This is 3rd and goal from the 3. And Bledsoe will call time. When we return, it's the Patriots going for an early touchdown. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Parcells now 54, his 3rd year here. 5-11 his first year, 10-6 in the playoffs last year. A kinder, gentler coach with Drew Bledsoe apparently this year.
Well, that's hard to believe when you talk about Bill Parcells. But last year he talked about he forgets sometimes because this guy is so talented, but he's only in his 2nd year being a quarterback in this league, and he's going to treat him different this year. And Drew Bledsoe even said, I respond better when you treat me nice and don't yell at me.
Doesn't want to be shouted at. You were just the opposite, apparently.
Well, I didn't have a choice.
He had to yell at Sims.
3rd and goal. Bledsoe. Plenty of time. Over the middle. No good. Vincent Brisby trapped the ball. So the drive ends at the Cleveland 3, and on comes veteran Matt Barr to try the field goal. Barr, who was 23 of 26 inside the 40 a year ago.
Look at the protection that Bledsoe gets. He has enough time to wait for Brisby to come across. He's got all day and then fires the ball down and low. Brisby can't make the catch. But the fact that this offensive line stayed in and held up.
A 20-yard field goal by Barr. Make it 21 officially, and New England settles for 3. 9:43 remaining in the opening quarter. You're watching the NFL on NBC. An anxious, excited 60,000 sellout here at Foxborough to see the New England Patriots debut in '95, and they take an early 3-0 lead. Michael Bates and Keenan McCardle deep for the Browns as O'Neal kicks it to the 9. McCardle. And he's wrapped up at the 22-yard line. Let's go back to that 3rd and 3 pass by Bledsoe, Phil.
Well, there's a couple of things there. What they were trying to do is get the ball to Dave Meggett out in the flat. You're going to see Drew Bledsoe has a lot of time, and as a quarterback, when the rhythm of the pass is not what it should be, you get a little tense, and that's why he short-armed the ball a little, and it was down in the ground, and Vincent Brisby couldn't make the catch.
Give credit to Dan Footman, defensive tackle, to pressure Bledsoe. First down Cleveland, their opening play of the season from the 23. Testaverde. Ford, the running back, he comes out throwing to the tight end, and wrapped up is Walter Reeves as he twists to the 25-yard line. Here are the Browns offensively. A line that many say is the best in Cleveland in many a season. Jones, Williams, Everett, Dahl, and Brown. And it's a line basically free agents and not high picks other than Everett. Testaverde has Horde, who made the Pro Bowl a year ago. Rison from Atlanta, great addition. Michael Jackson, the young receiver. Walter Reeves and Frank Hartley. They start with 2 tight ends. And Derek Alexander, last year's rookie from Michigan, comes in the 3 wide. Horde. And he's wrapped up at the line of scrimmage, and that should bring some satisfaction to Parcells, because his defense a year ago had trouble stopping the Browns running game, particularly Horde. Roberts, White, and Barnett, a new defensive line. None of them has a single start in the league until today. McGinnis, Vincent Brown led in tackles. Johnson's the rookie from Colorado. Slade led them in sacks the last 2 years. Reynolds, the best defensive back at the corners. Ray and Guyton at safety. And in the nickel, Ty Law, the #1 pick from Michigan, comes in. 3rd and 7. Testaverde looks for an alternate receiver and finds one. And a first down at the 39-yard line as McCardle makes the catch, and a 14-yard gain.
Well, this whole completion is just set up by wonderful protection by the Cleveland Browns. Look at that pocket all around. He has many opportunities to keep looking for receivers. Finally finds somebody going across the field and hits him.
Well, you know, Keenan McCardle, watch what he does here. He goes across. He's going to stop right here. No, I'm not open yet. I got to get beyond the linebacker. Once he does that, then Testaverde with the time because of the offensive line. Bam! First down.
From the 40, Horde trying to get outside. No way. Willie McGinnis takes the tackle. Did he get a piece of the face mask? A flag is down. Now the crowd on the premature preliminary signal says against Cleveland.
Holding. 89 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Larry Nemmers, our referee today, and that'll take it back to the 30-yard line.
I watched that played-off game last year, the other day, and watching this team, New England, against Horde. They shut Horde down. I know he scored a touchdown in the ball game, but if you look at his runs, he really couldn't explode him. So Testaverde, he came out and threw the football. This is what I'm seeing right now. They're concentrating on Leroy Horde, and Testaverde's going to have to go up top and get Andre Rison in this game.
First down, 20. Michael Jackson. Hurst can't get him. Neither can Ray. Touchdown, Cleveland. 70-yard strike. Testaverde to Michael Jackson.
What happens here again? Just first off, we got great protection by the Cleveland line. You're going to see a double move. He breaks out. Maurice Hurst has good position, but lets him go up the field. Michael Jackson is just too fast once he gets a 5-yard head start.
Phil, it looked like Hurst was looking for some help deep to the inside, and because he lets Michael Jackson right at the bat get behind him. And once he gets behind him, it's all over.
Matt Stover in action before the snap. Just to duck in a note, Jackson, that was his 20th career touchdown catch and his longest 70 yards. So Michael, remember back in the preseason early when Andre Rison, we were talking with him, they said the guy that Rison.
Encroachment on the nose tackle of the defensive team will go half the distance.
That
The
Rison.
penalty is refused or accepted. It'll be penalized 5 yards on the kickoff. We'll attempt the extra point.
Is he through?
Yes, I think so. Go ahead, Dick.
Well, I was trying to say that Rison, not only all of his great talent, but how he would influence young receivers, particularly Michael Jackson.
That's what he said to us. Remember, they said Michael Jackson's having a great training camp, and Andre looks at us and he says, we had to teach him how to practice.
And there's a lot to that as Stover knocks in the extra point. It's 7-3, 77 yards in 4 plays. Vinny Testaverde, 70 yards on the touchdown to Michael Jackson. Vinny Testaverde eager to answer his critics, saying this is the best team in his 9 NFL years, and he comes out with a 70-yard bomb. 7-3 Cleveland midway through the opening quarter as Stover sends it toward Troy Brown. Brown tackled at the 13, a victim of his own difficulties.
Here's how the Browns get a touchdown. Watch Harold Bishop up top of your screen, come down, go up the field, and influence the safety, Terry Ray. He comes across. Maurice Hurst thinks he has deep help, but when this receiver Bishop goes up the field, now he has Michael Jackson man to man. He gets beat on the double move. Usually you do not see that double move when you have outside technique on a receiver.
You can do double moves now, Phil, when you have an offensive line like the Cleveland Browns have. They've already said that this is the best offensive line they've had since 1980.
Steve Crosby, the offensive coordinator, leading the cheers, 7-3, and now New England starting from deep in its own end, and Curtis Martin, the rookie, spinning out to about the 18, almost a 5-yard gain for the young man who was picked in the 3rd round because he played only a couple of games last year as a senior at Pittsburgh. He injured an ankle early and did not return after the 2nd game.
Well, he had a big preseason. I know Bill Parcells was very happy to have a rookie come in and make the contribution he has, and we've already seen his influence on the game so far.
2nd and 5. Bledsoe out of the backfield to Sam Gass, and the fullback appears to have a first down at the 24-yard line. Carl Banks makes the stop.
Sam Gash is the fullback, and he comes out of the backfield. Bledsoe has so many weapons now, and he's just waiting to see Sam Gash comes open. Look at this delivery, how fast it's there. Was your arm ever that good?
Only in my dreams.
Just wonder if you ever got it there that fast.
I'll tell you, and Belichick talked about Sam Gash yesterday, and he says he won't catch 4 or 5 passes the whole season, but when a quarterback sticks them in your chest, you have to catch a few.
Just enough.
What did Parcells say about Sims? Better than?
Well, we were trying to get Coax Parcells into giving us some fodder with which to work against our new partner here. And he said, I'll tell you something that's going to surprise you. He was more accurate than Joe Montana. And I hope they're listening down there in New York. Parcells said it, and he wanted it to be used nationally, that this guy was more accurate than Montana.
Under his breath, he said when he was in high school.
Bledsoe throws it away.
You know, so far, Drew Bledsoe, we're seeing the effects of a guy that really feels comfortable throwing to the open receiver, and right there, it's covered. There's nobody to throw it to, so he stays relaxed, just throws it away, waits for the next play.
Ball at the 24, 2nd and 10. Bledsoe became the youngest ever quarterback to make it to the Pro Bowl at 22 last season, as he led the league in attempts and yards and was 2nd in completions with an even 425 of those for touchdowns. He dumps this one off and almost intercepted by big number 90 Rob Burnett. He was intending just to ground the ball, and Burnett almost intercepted.
Well, it's a good job by Drew Bledsoe of seeing the blitz. He checks off, but Cleveland's ready for it. Nobody's open, and now Drew, almost makes the big mistake trying to go to that 2nd receiver.
He's trying to throw the ball to Curtis Martin, and Rob Burnett, watch him, he gets knocked back to the outside, the spin move, and he just happens to get in the way. The ball hits him right in the head. He was trying to get the ball to his back coming out. Bad call.
Bledsoe 5 for 9. Is it a catch? Yes. Out at the 34-yard line. That'll be right at the sticks as Will Moore has his first NFL reception. He came from Calgary, where Doug Flutie, the former Patriot quarterback, was the man throwing to him.
Cleveland, they're saying that this is not a catch. We're going to see it. Goes into the ground. He had his arms underneath. I'll tell you, you've got to give him the catch because his arms were underneath the ball. If he was catching with his hands, it'd be different. But look at here. He's down. The ball is inside of his arms. That's just too quick. Even if they had replay, Dick, I don't think they'd have overturned that.
10 yards and maybe a foot, and another first down for New England. 7-3 Cleveland leads it. Stops at the 25-yard line, 35-yard line, as Tim Goad, who's playing with considerable inspiration today, not re-signed by the Patriots, went as an unrestricted free agent to Cleveland.
A little difference of opinion here with Goad, don't you think? Goad told me about 4 weeks ago, Tim Goad, he said they never even offered me a contract. They just let me out there. He had a broken leg and he came back and he was well. He said they never offered him a contract. Now we talked to Coach Parcells. He said, oh, yes, we did. We offered him a contract. They turned it down.
Yeah. Pretty good sized contract.
I thought so.
2nd and 10. Dumps it off in the flat to Meggett. And Meggett has another New England first down. Great throw. Hit Meggett on the dead run right between the twos. Don Griffin bumped him out of bounds.
This is a good job by Drew Bledsoe. You don't see these receivers come in here, and Drew's just looking 1, 2, 3 to Dave Meggett. When he sees the Browns drop back in zone, nobody's open, no coverage around Meggett, and really makes an exceptional throw right to the chest for the first down.
From the 46-yard line, Bledsoe underneath and hit immediately as Meggett. Short yardage, gain of about 4. Johnson and Caldwell, the Browns linebackers, collaborate on the stop.
Good job by Dave Meggett right there, coming out, seeing he was bracketed on both sides by a linebacker on each side, reads it, hooks it up in between him, and Drew Bledsoe sticks it in there once again.
The thing that bothers me a little bit about Meggett, now we talked to Bill Belichick yesterday, he was so concerned, Dick, about him. Where is he going to be? What's he going to do? How much is he going to play? And then he runs out in the flat, nobody covers him. That, to me, doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
2nd down and 6, a little draw to Meggett. And the big little man is inside the 45. The 44 of Cleveland, a first down. How did you like Phil Simms' remark by Parcells yesterday? He says, I don't like little guys. Big people are better players, but there are exceptions.
Yeah, he's changed that rule. He had Joe Morris in New York for years, and when he drafted Dave Meggett, he says, what am I going to do with 2 midgets? Well, not to slight you, Joe, or whatever, but he's learned to like little people, especially people like Dave Meggett, who can really do it all and have big hearts.
And a great guy to have on the team. Does he ever stop smiling?
No, he never does. That's something he never does.
Little play action fake and gives Bledsoe some time. No one is open, however. Brisby coming back to try to meet the quarterback. 2nd and 10. Dave Meggett from Towson State in Maryland signed a healthy contract to come up here from the Giants.
You know, Drew Bledsoe absolutely drive defenses crazy. I mean, you get to a 3rd down situation, he just keeps the drive alive. He just finds people open. This guy with his arm, the defense, this is the first game of the year. You brought up a great point the other day, and we're going to talk about it, where the Cleveland Browns, probably this defense has played maybe a game and a half in 4 preseason games. We'll get back to it in a minute.
He just did beat the clock. Turner finally bumps him out of bounds at the 11-yard line. 32-yard play.
Will Moore, we're seeing one of the reasons why they brought him to the New England. He comes across the formation, and Drew sticks the ball outside. What a catch with just those hands. Turns it up the sideline. Never breaks stride. Very, very impressive catch and run.
You know, they've not seen this guy play before. Watch Stephon Moore, number 27. He gets caught inside, fooling around with a tight end, and it lets Moore go down the sidelines. Turner, the all-pro, gets there, makes the play, but they're at the 10-yard line.
Undrafted out of Texas Southern, went to the CFL for 3 years from the 11th. Bledsoe has it batted down. Dan Footman.
Right there, we saw his maturity right here. Last year, down in Cleveland, this exact same pass. Drew Bledsoe throws it to Ben Coates over the middle. It's intercepted, cost him the game. This time, he was going outside to the open receiver, Will Moore, but it gets knocked down.
And, Dick, this is one of the big changes in Cleveland. They take Footman, who was a better pass rusher last year, from the outside. This year, they moved him inside, a big man playing defensive tackle. And they were kind of wondering about him. Can he really do it? They know he can do it from the outside. And it looks like he's doing very well on the inside.
Another impressive drive for the Patriots, who trail 7-3. This is Martin. Curtis Martin down to the 2-yard line. A yard shy of a first down. He has 47 yards rushing in this opening quarter.
You're going to see it coming right at you. This is what Martin sees. You're going to see what he sees. He comes down the line. He sees the hole to the outside. Breaks a tackle. Now watch him. Switch the ball. Move back to the inside. Gets the ball down to the 2-yard line. Beautiful. You know the interesting thing about this guy? 1 year of high school football. And his mother made him play.
Right. You're not just going to come home from school and have nothing to do. Go out for football.
And then what, he gained over 3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns. I mean, through 5.
That's what's impressive.
On 3rd down, it's Martin on the toss, and he loses a yard. Cleveland ready for that. Anthony Pleasant, Mike Caldwell, the defensive end and linebacker on that side to stop the run.
And we got an injured player down.
Burke, the tight end. And that'll bring up 4th down and about 2 for a first down from the 3-yard line. And Parcells probably goes for more on 4th down than any coach in the league, and you know that well, Phil.
Well, he always says if you're going to go for it on 4th down, you can't be faint of heart. So he is not faint of heart.
Last year, 4th down attempts, New England more than anyone in the league, and twice the average.
Well, you know, Bill Parcells, like you said, loves to go for it on 4th down. 1 year we're down in Dallas, right in the middle of a big race. It's 4th and about 6 inches. He brings the whole team to the sideline late in the game, gives us his big speech. Men, this is our whole season. We've got to get this first down. I'm fired up. We run out in the field. we lose 2 yards.
Doesn't always work.
It doesn't always work.
Now, remember last year in the playoffs, this team came up to the line of scrimmage and tried to get Cleveland to go outside. We talked to Pepper Johnson about that yesterday, and he said, "No, we knew it was coming." Cleveland will be aware. He calls it the no-brainer play. I mean, Cleveland will be aware of what's going to happen, but they are going to go for the field goal.
Well, 2 yards down there, especially after they just lost a yard on the third down play. And Parcells goes for the 3 to pull within a point as Barr's second short field goal attempt. You don't like those 20, 21, 22-yard field goals. That means you're down deep and you don't get the 7.
The kickers do, though. They like them alive.
Another 21-yarder. And Barr knocks it through. 2 21-yard field goals by Matt Barr. And the Cleveland lead reduced to 7-6. Well, what a view our chaps in the Goodyear blimp must have today. It is a fantastic weather day, and our overhead shots are courtesy of the Goodyear blimp, Stars and Stripes, and Captain Dick Esch from Pompano Beach, Florida at the controls. 7-6 Cleveland leads it. The kickoff. O'Neal sends it toward Michael Bates, the world-class sprinter just acquired by the Browns. Doesn't quite get to full speed and is tackled at the 27-yard line. It's 7-6. Cleveland takes the field with Vinny Testaverde as we take a look behind the statistics. Last time these two teams met in the wild card game in Cleveland, Testaverde went to the left 5 times with his passes, completed all 5. Only 2 for 4 up the middle, and Faber definitely throwing to the right. Right-handed quarterback, 21 pass attempts. So what does that tell us, Phil?
Tells us a lot of things. He's a right-handed quarterback. I'll tell you the rest after the play.
Hands off to Leroy Horde. And Horde, the hard-running fullback, with a flag down, gains a couple before being knocked out of bounds. Terry Ray, the safety, and another hold signaled against Cleveland.
Holding, 77 offense, 10 yards, repeat first down.
All right, Phil.
Well, Vinny likes to throw to his right because he is a right-handed quarterback, but when they're playing New England, Ricky Reynolds is over to his right, and they think he plays a little softer, a little more careful, so they throw all those out patterns that way. Maurice Hurst likes to take chances, things like that, so when they throw to the left, they're looking to go deep.
Hold it. 5 for 5 on the left. Excuse me. Did he just not hit Michael Jackson on the left-hand side for a touchdown, 7 yards? Excuse me, boys.
That's what I just said. Deep ones go to the left.
6 for 6. To the left, 7 for 7. Jackson again in front of Hurst, who had to play him with respect. And the tackle made at the 29-yard line, the final seconds of the opening quarter. And plenty of action early in Foxborough. A pair of 21-yard field goals for New England, capping long drives, and Testaverde to Jackson, 70 yards for the Browns score.
We hope you will enjoy them.
Welcome back to Foxborough with Phil Simms and Paul Maguire. I'm Dick Enberg. Cleveland striking with a 70-yard bomb. Testaverde to Michael Jackson, and the Browns have it 2nd down and 8 at their 29-yard line as we open the second quarter. Testaverde, a perfect 4 for 4, tosses to Lorenzo White, the former Houston Oiler, and he gains only a yard as we go from Foxborough to New York.
All right, Dick, at Indianapolis, Craig Erickson, an ex-NFCer, hooks up with another ex-NFC player, Flipper Anderson, 16 yards to cap a 78-yard drive. They're just underway in the second quarter. The Colts with a 7-3 lead on the Bengals. Let's go back to Foxborough.
3rd down, 7.
And Vinny Testaverde looks at a 3rd and 7. Sends Andre Rison to the right. In motion and fakes to him, chased in the backfield and throws it away. That'll be intentionally grounding the ball. Willie McGinnis made the defensive play for New England.
The play takes too long. The play just takes too long. You put Andre Rison in motion and you bring it around like in a reverse. You fake the lateral to him. And then by that time, the linebackers are there.
We have another penalty on the far side of the field. And the officials will have to sort this out.
That was a play they ran last year in the playoff game and made a big play to the receiver they were faking to. What they were doing there was trying to give the same look and come back to the right side and hit something deep down the right, but New England didn't fall for it.
One penalty for certain is intentionally grounding the ball. The other was thrown in the secondary on the far side.
Well, he was outside the pocket, so I don't know if it's intentional grounding. He was trying to throw the ball, but he couldn't, because of somebody holding on to him, he couldn't get it past the line of scrimmage.
And the thing about the rule, folks, so you understand it, it's already happened a couple of times to New England this year. Once you're out of the pocket.
Illegal hands to the face on number 27 of the defensive team. We have intentional grounding on the quarterback. When the quarterback is out of the pocket, he has to get the ball back to the line of scrimmage on the pass. We have an ineligible downfield on the offensive team. Those penalties all offset. We'll replay the down. Third down.
It had to be 37, not 27. Maurice Hurst beaten on the touchdown, illegally into the face of Keenan McCardle.
See, he grabs the face mask right there, so that flag has already been thrown. They all offset. The grounding is Vinny Testaverde. He's in the grass of McGinnis, and they can't get the ball back to the line of scrimmage. So when he throws this away, that's intentional grounding. And then they had another penalty. But, you know, the thing about it is that what we're explaining about once you're out of the pocket, all things are off. All things are off. Yes, you can chuck again after 5 yards, but you can't chuck him in the face.
That's right. That's what he did wrong there. He did that right off the bat, put his hands in his face mask.
3rd and 7 for Cleveland. Testaverde to the open man, and it's Michael Jackson again. Jackson, 13 more yards and a first down.
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's on fire. We talked about it earlier. They're worried about him going deep, so he's got Ty Law, a rookie, on him. He doesn't want to get beat deep early in his career. Good move coming back towards the football, and Vinny showing his arm strength and just sticking it right to him. Michael Jackson there. We talked about the influence Andre Rison has had on him, and right now this is a different player we saw last year.
They said that he has had the best training camp that he has ever had, and he's carrying it on into the regular season.
Went to Southern Mississippi as a quarterback, but a guy named Brett Favre was there. Became a wide receiver in a hurry. This is his 4th catch, but gains only a yard this time. Willie McGinnis wraps him up. Jackson, 4 catches, 96 yards in this first half.
Phil.
Yes.
They've got to go to Rison.
Yes.
Eventually, they're going to go to Rison.
Let me tell you, I've seen a couple plays where they're trying to get the ball to Andre, but New England is staying back looking for it. So Vinny's doing a good job of making decisions, not forcing it in there. And Michael Jackson is the recipient of all these good things.
4 wide receivers now.
2nd and a long 8. Throws it away. Rison was the intended receiver. He was well covered by Ricky Reynolds. And Reynolds, a man you've got to be careful with, although he may play loosely at times, has 5 career touchdowns, so he makes the big plays.
They're trying to get the ball to Andre Rison right here. He's just going to go out in the flat. It's man coverage. We should have a slant right here. But what happens, the outside receiver gets jammed, gets in the way of Andre, and Vinny can't throw the ball to him now in time for the completion.
First miss for Testaverde, who's now 6 for 7. 3rd and 8. 3 wides. Good protection. Now it breaks down. Testaverde dumps it off to his tight end, and tackled immediately Harold Bishop. Bishop, his first catch as a Brown, did not catch a pass last year in Tampa Bay. Ferrick Collins applied the pressure for New England, and the punting team comes on. We're going to see our first punt of the game. Tom Tupa. The Browns were 2nd best in the NFL last year. Punt coverage averaged only 5.8 yards per return, but New England sends one of the best, Meggett, to return it. coach back at the 20 when we return to England. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Drew Bledsoe and the Patriots on the field. Bledsoe in his second year last year at age 22 joined an illustrious group. Most passing yards after 2 years. Namath, Moon, Kelly. Bledsoe with over 7,000. Only Dan Marino, nearly 7,300 with more yards throwing in his first 2 NFL seasons. What a future for this handsome, mild-mannered young man from the state of Washington. Curtis Martin on first down for a couple of yards. Anthony Pleasant and Tim Goad on the stop.
We saw that graphic of Bledsoe and Marino. What I think is so unique about that, they both remind me a lot as players. They both get rid of the ball exceptionally quick when they're in a pocket, and their throwing motions are almost identical. They just kind of flick it with their shoulder, and it's one of the reasons why they're hard to sack.
New England rushing for 61 yards in this first half, only 2 for Cleveland. Martin again. Tough 2.5 yards into the grasp of Pepper Johnson and company. And Goad was there as well.
It's going to be very difficult, I think, to get Goad out of there. He's fired up. Number 73 played here last year, broke his leg, didn't get a contract. He says they said they did, and he's just spinning, holding people up, and in comes Pepper Johnson, number 52, and make the play.
Goad, who played at North Carolina, says, I want to be a champion bass fisherman when I'm through with football. That's pretty nice.
Right. He can yell the fish into the boat.
Bledsoe on 3rd and short, goes underneath and has the first down at the 31-yard line. Will Moore has his 3rd catch.
Well, the one thing about this, Dick, that I don't, and Phil, I'm not understanding, on 3rd down, the Browns are going with only 3 men rushing. You've got to bring somebody else in here. Now, they got Pepper going out, helping out on Coates, and here comes Moore inside by himself. That's Caldwell, 56. But you can't let Bledsoe stand back there with a 3-man rush. You've got to send at least one of those linebackers.
When you play zone against quarterbacks like Drew Bledsoe, they're going to pick you apart when they get time, and they're trying.
All right, it's Curtis Martin swinging outside. Good move. 45 and near midfield before Antonio Langham can get him out of bounds. 14 more for this very talented young man from the city of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Well, one of the things that happens is the linebackers just have a tendency to worry about Bledsoe and getting back into coverage. When they do that, look what happens. They get stuck inside. When you get set, Banks, number 58, gets caught inside. There's nobody out there on Martin except the corner, Antonio Langham.
Well, they're thinking of last year where Marion Butts couldn't have taken the ball outside. This guy, Curtis Martin, can take a run inside, break out for big yardage.
Right to start for Martin. First down at the 47. The pass to John Burke to the 50, a gain of just 3. Burke, who caught 9 last year behind Ben Coates. Don Griffin, the stop for Cleveland.
You know, the thing about this whole thing is I'm just sitting here watching Bledsoe, and he makes it look easy. He's just spreading that ball all over. I mean, last year he had Ben Coates that he always went to.
He had Ben Coates fever last year.
But Ben Coates, what did he tell us, Dick? Don't throw me the ball.
He actually said that he didn't want as many chances.
Well, he's getting his wish because he's not seeing the ball today.
6 different receivers used by Bledsoe in this first half. Martin following his blocker, patient leave it. Oh, Pepper Johnson said, I can't wait to welcome that young man to the National Football League.
Yeah, Pepper Johnson said, I'm going to welcome that boy into the National Football League, and he did right there. You see him. All the defensive linemen take care of the offensive linemen of New England. Pepper scrapes around to the outside and make, oh, nice hit right there.
Hello.
Some running backs don't forget those kind of hits.
He, along with Pio Sangapulatelli, number 75, were there, and when Martin turned in, hello, Pepper.
2-yard gain for Martin. It is 3rd and 5.
Get outside, get outside. I'm in the middle, get outside.
In motion. That won't be enough for a first down to Brisby. Vincent Brisby with a catch at the Cleveland 45. That'll be a 1.5 yards shy of a first down. Mike Caldwell covered him.
All he had to do was go to Meggett, number 22, and he's got the first down and maybe more. Meggett was out there along with Brisby, and he doesn't see him. He tries to throw the inside. Brisby wasn't beyond the line of scrimmage. I blame him for that, because you've got to know where the first down marker is.
Yeah, right there. That play was designed to do that, and you're right. Nobody was on Dave Meggett, and we were looking at about a 20-yard gain right there if he gets the football.
Not beyond Parcells to fake it as O'Neal comes in to punt. Griffin and McCardle back for Cleveland, and it is a punt. And the former academic star at Syracuse lofts one high, and a fair catch. McCardle at the Cleveland 14-yard line. Timeout, 7:12 remaining first half.
Last play you saw where Drew Bledsoe threw it short for the first down. Look at Dave Meggett up top. He's going to come outside. Nobody's going to go with him. All the defenders are caught inside. And look at Drew Bledsoe throws him the ball. It's just now you have to tackle Dave Meggett in the open field.
Cleveland on the punt by O'Neal starts at the 14, leading 7-6. Ford. He's been stopped thus far, and he gains 5 on that carry off the left side before rookie Ted Johnson from one of the inside linebacking positions can make the stop.
52, Ted Johnson, and 53, Chris Slade.
One thing we've seen so far, the New England Patriots defensive line, all new players, and the one weakness they might have had was getting into the blockers and not getting off of it. Today, so far, they're getting off of those offensive linemen and making those tackles inside.
They've increased their weight by 25 pounds per man, the 3-down linemen here in New England. Parcells wants the beef. Testaverde gets out of the tackle and gets it off to Walter Reeves, who ad-libs out across the 20-yard line, shy of the first down. Chris Slade invaded the backfield along with Reggie Eugene White.
Well, it sure helps to stand in that pocket when you're about 6'5", 235 pounds. And Vinny Testaverde right here shakes off Chris Slade, the defensive lineman, Reggie White, and flips the ball for a short gain to Walter Reeves and makes his third down a lot easier.
Keep your composure. That's exactly what he did.
Only 12 sacks last year, lowest in the league. Third and a long 2. Testaverde 8 for 9 in the game. 9 for 10, and that's good for a first down to Ernest Biner. The veteran running back has his first reception at the 27-yard line.
The thing that I'm impressed with, and Dick, you just mentioned it, and so did you, Phil, about this new defensive line, Roberts, White, and Barnett. You know, these guys, a little bit bigger. They looked at him on film. They said, well, maybe not as fast. Maybe not as fast. But what they're doing is they're jamming up the middle, and they're taking on the offensive linemen. And they said the Cleveland Browns, the best offensive line they've had since 1980. They're containing these guys and letting the linebackers get there.
They have stopped the running game thus far, as Horde picks up the best rush of the day just in time. Thank you, Leroy. Chris Slade made the tackle.
But where Leroy Horde was running, the hole was blocked up. He did this on his own. He cuts back to the inside and picks up the yardage on his own. Not because of the offensive line block. Watch to the left of the screen. You see them all jammed inside? Everybody's there. Now Horde comes back to the inside. McGinnis, number 55, misses the tackle in the backfield.
Gain of 7. Second down. Horde again. First down and more across the 40-yard line. Chris Slade and Vincent Brown with the stop.
Vincent Brown and Chris Slade on the stop.
4 minutes, 20 seconds left in this first half. Cleveland leading 7-6.
First down.
Watch Harold Bishop come across here and kick out the outside guy here, Chris Slade. The running back follow inside there. That's why you see such a big hole, the influence block. Leroy Horde does a good job of running to the right spot.
What's that called? Bong?
Well, that was just a wham block. No, a bong is inside.
Oh, we'll get a bong.
We'll get a bong later. That's right.
And a bing, and a bang, and a bong.
On first down, Testaverde goes long for Risen and intercepted. Ricky Reynolds down by contact at the 21-yard line, and a flag is there as well. Or maybe the official used the flag as the marker. No penalty. First down on the interception by Reynolds, who matches his total of a year ago. He had only 1 all last season.
Good job by Ricky Reynolds here. He stays right with him. Andre Rison tries to break up the pass, but Ricky Reynolds has him pinned to the sideline and makes a tough catch there with Andre with his hand in his face mask.
New England with the ball. They trail Cleveland 7-6.
On that interception you just saw, you'll see that New England not afraid to blitz Vinny Testaverde and play man coverage against these good wide receivers down the field. And watch Ricky Reynolds right here, right with Andre, gets in front, turns, puts his body next to his, pins him against the sideline, and Andre can't even get up and break the play up.
Pretty good post play, huh? He played some basketball in his youth, Reynolds. Bledsoe drills it to Brisby, and it's a first down pickup out at the 32-yard line in front of Don Griffin, the right corner, the veteran for Cleveland. 11 more for Drew Bledsoe, who's 12 for 19 this first half. Those were game numbers for you, Phil.
Yes, but I couldn't throw it like this. I tell you, Paul, there are only about 5 quarterbacks in the league take a drop back like that, throw it across the field to the outcut, and do it with such ease.
And Griffin had no chance on Brisby because he was making the cut and the ball was there.
Curtis Martin not able to find a hole. Anthony Pleasant and others. Pepper Johnson to make the stop. Here are the numbers for the two quarterbacks. Testaverde 9 for 11, including a 70-yard touchdown bomb to Michael Jackson. Bledsoe only 5 less yards. Nothing big, though, for New England through the air.
You know, the funny part about it, we're talking nothing but offense and the receivers and the quarterbacks and the defensive guys have been doing a pretty good job. A 7-6 ball game. They're moving the ball down the field, but they're stopping them.
Bledsoe underneath to Ben Coates, and the big tight end runs right through 2 tackles and finally dragged down by Gerald Dixon. Oh, my.
Well, big coach has gotten tired of seeing everybody else catch the football, so Drew goes back and just sticks it to him.
Don Griffin really has no chance on this play because he's going to go down to the feet of Coates. Watch here, 28 going down. He just runs through the play. You've got to wrap your arms around him, hit the big guy high, and run him out of bounds. But he went to his feet, he got caught.
First down at the Cleveland 47. Play action. Bledsoe eludes the rush. He's going long. Double coverage against Brisby, and he almost pulled it in. Stevan Moore and Don Griffin had him sandwiched, and he still got one hand on the ball.
You know, on this play here, you're going to see the double coverage. Stevan Moore gets back into the play, number 27 right here. But you're right. Brisby almost catches his ball, Dick.
Opening weekend kickoff 95 all the way to the Super Bowl 30. Cleveland 7-6, 2-minute timeout. New England 2nd and 10 from the Browns 47-yard line. Bledsoe into the flat. Roll Moore. And Moore finally pushed out of bounds in front of Bill Parcells. Not happy at all about the extra hit. No flag as Eric Turner there along with Antonio Langham. A reminder coming up at halftime. Domino's Pizza NFL on NBC halftime report. Messrs. Gumbel, Ditka, Gibbs and Montana in our New York studio. Scores and highlights around the league on this opening week of the NFL season. Third down, incomplete. Dave Meggett unable to pull that one in and brings up another 4th down. About in the same spot where they were stalled the last time at the 43 of Cleveland.
One thing that Bledsoe didn't realize, that Greg Powell, number 59, was running on the field as a rookie number 1 draft choice, and he wasn't even in position. All he had to do was look the other way.
Now you saw Bill Parcells call timeout, flirting with going for it on 4th down. It's 4th down and about 5.5 for the first down. Bill Parcells calling time. Think he'll go for it, Phil?
I would be shocked right here if they go for it. I look for what they call the no-brainer. A lot of movement, some hard counts, try to get them off sides. This is a big gamble. Let's see Pepper.
All right, where's the captain?
Pepper's a little older. All he does now is clap his
Yeah,
hands.
right.
I mean, you know, I got a long game to go yet. I'll just clap my hands. Last year, he went absolutely ballistic. He was all over the place. He says, you know, when you get excited and you catch him in a no-brainer, we can do all the things we want to do, and we knew what he was going to do. He's so happy.
That's the first New England penalty, the 5-yard delay a game, and Pat O'Neill comes in to punt, and Cleveland will have significant time to try to move it if Bill Belichick wishes. 1:25 left in the half. McCardle back at the 10 for the Browns. O'Neal. McCardle on the run, a returnable 20. 25-30 into the 32-yard line. So the Browns fairly good field position. 31-yard punt, 16 on the return. A reminder, Joey Lawrence is coming to NBC Sundays in 2 weeks, starring in a hot new comedy series with his two real-life brothers. The show's called Brotherly Love. Look for Brotherly Love Sunday nights following the NFL on NBC. That's in 2 weeks.
You know something we have not seen? A screen. We have not seen one screen. With all the rush of the Patriots coming up the middle, you just got to believe that there's got to be a screen in this package somewhere.
Well, the Browns do like the screen. I'm surprised too, Paul, we haven't seen it today.
Testaverde to Ernest Biner, and Biner crosses the 40-yard line, a gain of almost 8 as Ricky Reynolds makes the tackle. Clock running at 1:06, 1:05.
The Browns have 3 timeouts. Patriots only 1.
That's why you can run the ball on first down in these situations, because of those timeouts. They saved them.
Now 2nd and 2. Testaverde drills it in there for a first down at about the 48. And Cleveland will spend its timeout number 1 with 49 seconds left as Andre Rison has his first catch as a Brown.
He's officially a Brown now. He made his catch in the regular season.
You waited for almost 30 minutes to call him an official Brown.
Well, it's, you know, that preseason catches don't count, so you got to do it in the regular season. And I know Andre Rison is starting to get frustrated. We've talked to him. He knows this is a better team, and he's not going to catch 100 passes like he did in Atlanta, but still he wants to be part of the offense and have the ball thrown his way.
Well, he wanted to come to Cleveland, Paul, because obviously he had other choices. He felt that of those opportunities, this was the team that had the best chance to get to the Super Bowl.
You know, it really is amazing how these guys today pick a team. I mean, Andre Rison looked at the Cleveland Browns, saw them in the playoffs last year, saw them, you know, some balls were dropped against Pittsburgh, knew that they had the opportunity to get there. And when he took a look at it, he says, you know, they may be just missing a receiver. And they may be missing a little running back here. And if I look at that offensive line, it's a pretty good line. He made the right choice, I believe.
Yeah, it tells me he's pretty smart.
Yeah, it's a former college teammate, Lorenzo White, joining the Browns. Rison again, and he stops the clock out of bounds at the New England 45 with 46 seconds left. And there was an ulterior motive as well for Rison. Rison said, you look at my numbers, they're as good as any of the great receivers in the league, and that's true. 475 catches in 6 years. That average is 79, 10 touchdown average. But Jerry Rice has those Super Bowl rings, and until I go to the Super Bowl and a winning team, I just won't be considered at that elite level.
And he's right on target with it, too, because he is one of the great receivers in the league and doesn't get that kind of respect. He does from the defensive players.
Contact before the snap as Biner tries to center the line. Looked as if Mike Jones might have jumped offside for New England. Stops the clock at 42 seconds. If you just join us, Cleveland leading 7-6 on a 70-yard touchdown.
Defense, offside, 5-yard penalty, first down after 5 yards.
Testaverde hit Michael Jackson. New England has moved the ball well every time they've had possession, but have settled for 2 short field goals. As you look at the other scores, Carolina in its initial game with a lead against Atlanta.
Dom Capers has a lot of experience against the run and shoot, so really not a big surprise there.
First down, Cleveland at the New England 40, trying to add to their 7-6 lead before the intervention. Biner in the backfield. It's to Biner. Terry Ray, along with Myron Guyton, drag him down, but 11 more yards.
And the one thing that we're seeing here again, the New England Patriots are not afraid to blitz. They are coming after Vinny Testaverde. And all these passes are just a little dump pass. The one to Rison, a little short one in the flat, picked up about 7 yards. This time a little dump pass to Biner. He has no responsibility. Another first down.
And they've moved into field goal range with 34 seconds left in the half.
Well, this is a good job by Vinny Testaverde. He gets pressure right up the middle, you're going to see. And he just throws it quick to the back, coming out of the backfield. See the defense coming free, gets rid of the ball quick. Ernest has always been a good receiver, catches the ball and then makes a nice little run after it.
First down, I know that, well, right now it would be about a 47-yard field goal. Dick, that's not out of Stover's range, but they one more first down would kind of secure it.
Pretty impeccable first half for Testaverde, 12 of 14. Long touchdown pass.
He's picking up just right where he left off last year with New England.
Barkley, the tight end, in motion. Testaverde on the roll, looking for a big one. Michael Jackson. It's a scramble in the end zone. Oh, what a catch for Jackson! Stole it from Maurice Hurst. 30-yard touchdown, and Jackson with a sensational 2-touchdown half.
Wow, what a catch. That is not a happy man, Bill Parcells. Jackson is.
Well, his nickname after the performer is Thriller. And he has done that today. A 70-yard gallop with a perfectly thrown bomb from Testaverde, and then he just steals that one as he uses his 6'4" height to take it away from Maurice Hurst, the best defensive back for New England.
You get quiet here.
Stover's try for point. And Cleveland with a flag down. Let's see if this counts. Check the penalty.
Defense, offside, number 37. The 5-yard penalty will be administered on the kickoff.
The Browns, on a couple of touchdown passes to Jackson, have a 14-6 lead.
Sometimes you get lucky as a quarterback. Here's Andre Rising going across the field wide open. Vinny sprints out to the right to try to get the defense to commit this way. As you see, he sprints out. He sprints out to the right. The defense doesn't react. It stays in place. Andre wide open going across the field. He still throws it to Michael Jackson in the back, who's double teamed, and he makes a wonderful catch over the top.
Well, Maurice Hurst, I mean, this is just stick it in your face time. Watch Michael Jackson. Hurst is, you can't cover better than this. He's playing it perfectly. He turns back and looks at the ball, but Michael Jackson goes right up over the top and takes the ball away. That's beautiful. Hurst can't do a better job.
Sometimes this is why you like big, tall wide receivers now in the National Football League. When they're talented, the quarterback throws it up there. Some of these shorter DBs can't take the ball away. That's what happened there. Michael Jackson,
67 yards, 5 plays, took only 50 seconds for Testaverde to get another touchdown. Stovers to kick it off. And the 5-yard penalty, so he kicks from the 40. Troy Brown's going to run it out. And unable to make it to the 15-yard line. Well covered. 54 Ed Sutter, one of the special team stars for the Browns, to make the initial hit.
I think what's important about that drive right there, we saw New England try to draw Cleveland off sides. They take the penalty, they punt, and all they really gained was about 10 yards. If they punt it back in near the goal line, Cleveland probably just tries to run out the clock.
Maurice Hurst, that was the man that Parcells was kidding about during practice this week about Rising using the duck walk. No one talked about Jackson. He's the one dancing in his first half.
He's doing the moonwalk.
He's doing the long leg limp. That's it.
So the end of this first half. Vinny Testaverde and the Cleveland Browns. Very impressive. Michael Jackson, 70 and 30-yard touchdown receptions, and the Browns with a 14-6 lead. New England twice deep inside the 5, settling for 21-yard Matt Barr field goals. Now let's go to Greg Gumbel in our NFL on it. Welcome back. Ready for the second half. The Browns leading 14-6. Let's take a look at the significant numbers on our Coors Light halftime statistics sheet, and a lot of yards, Paul Maguire.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, Phil brought up an interesting thing. So you said two defensive-minded coaches and over 400 yards in the first half.
Yeah, it really is. It's not like either one of them.
Kick by O'Neal. McConnell across the 20 to the 24-yard line. And the Cleveland Browns get the ball first with the lead here in the second half. Anything surprise you? You know, the critics all pointed Testaverde as maybe the weakness on this Cleveland team. He had some pretty good answers there.
Oh, he played exceptional in the first half. Good decisions the whole time. But what sticks out to me, the Browns defense giving up 6 points, just like they did last year. Move up and down the field on them, but you can't get touchdowns.
I think the one thing that has to happen in this second half, in order for Cleveland to win, they've got to run the football, Dick, somewhere along the line. They have to run the ball.
First down just from the 25, and they come out running and gain 3. Lorenzo White. As we check the two quarterbacks report cards in the first 30 minutes, both men effective, but Testaverde the big plays. 2 touchdowns, both to Michael Jackson, 1 for 70 and another for 30. Bledsoe yet to hit the end zone with that strong right arm of his.
3 yards.
Second down, 7. Jackson to the right. Right and left. Fake to White. Testaverde eludes the rush and dumps it off the flat to White. And Lorenzo White spins for a first down out to the 37-yard line. Vincent Brown made the tackle. Good choice by Testaverde. Wanted to go long. Coverage was there. Took the safe route.
Also, again, avoids being tackled. Watch here. Slate in the backfield. Step up. Thank you very much. Throw out here to Lorenzo White. Let me get the first down. Lorenzo not going out of bounds. He loves playing on grass. He stole us that out of getting out of Houston. What did he say last? Lorenzo White said he would hit more times in half a season than he's ever been hit in his life.
He said it was a rough 1994. I love tight ends. Give me tight ends. Testaverde changing his play at the line of scrimmage, and here comes a safety blitz. Terry Ray, but they pick it up. White on the little soft pass in the flat. He's out to the 40. A pickup of 3. Slade and Barnett with the tackle.
Dick, he tried to screen. He tried to screen.
He tried to screen, saw the blitz coming, and he decides to check off to this screen. So this must have been in the plan. And you see right here, Vinny, all the defensive lineman doesn't come in. Holds it up, and really quite a good play by Chris Slade right there to keep him from cutting up.
Troy Barnett was right in the middle of the screen. If they'd thrown it where it was supposed to go, Barnett would have been the receiver. 15 for 17, 88% completion rate for Vinny Testaverde. On second and long, again eludes the rush. McGinnis couldn't get him and dumps it off for another completion. This one to Harold Bishop, the tight end. One of 4 tight ends on this Cleveland roster. Ted Johnson made the stop. No sacks taken by Testaverde today.
Well, it's something that's always overlooked here. You're going to see Willie McGinnis get pressure on him right here. But people talk about Vinny Testaverde. They forget to say he can move around for a big quarterback. And once he's on the run, still an accurate thrower. We've seen it about 4 times now in this game. He's avoided a sack.
6'5" and near 230 pounds. So he is a tough target to drag down. 3rd and 5. Good protection. Now it breaks down and forced out of bounds. There's the first sack. Vincent Brown put the pressure on, and Testaverde steps out of bounds. The Patriots have their initial sack of the season.
Here's a play I really don't understand, because you're running Testaverde to the short sideline. And when you run him there, you have no place to go but out of bounds. Look at Testaverde coming down the line. He's open. He has to stop, but he sees Vincent Brown move to the outside. Sack. I don't like rolling a quarterback to the short side.
Tom Tupa to punt with Dave Meggett back at the 20. Meggett comes up to the 24. And not much there. 3-yard return to the 27. Timeout. Cleveland by 8. Back in New England, and great to see the enthusiasm here in the Boston and New England area. The Red Sox having a tremendous baseball season, and everyone looking with such great anticipation to this New England Patriot year. Times have changed. Curtis Martin, whose very first run as an NFL player was 30 yards to start the game, gains only a couple. Score by quarters, New England. This is last season's numbers. And they started slow 46 points in the first quarter, but built to their best quarter the fourth. Joe Gibbs alluded to the fact that New England, a tough second half team offensively. Second down 8. Bledsoe gives to Martin. Martin breaking a tackle, gets outside. You know, he doesn't look big and strong, but this young man has huge arms, and he's over 200 pounds on a 5'11" frame.
He runs through 2 guys, Rob Burnett, number 1, and then Caldwell, Mike Caldwell, 56. You want to see some strength, folks? Watch this man. Here he comes out. Burnett, he goes through him. Caldwell, get out of my way. First down.
First time he's worn 28 since he was a kid, always 29. He said, I just like the way Eric Dickerson, I like that big shield and the way he had his socks and elbow pads. He said, but I want my own identity. So 28 it is for Martin, who gets the call again. And bumped out of bounds at the 47-yard line by Antonio Langham after a gain of more than 5. He's admired all the greats, and he said perhaps Walter Payton most of all, but Tony Dorsett another. But it was Dickerson. He said, not that I wanted to play like it, I just wanted to look like it.
Yeah. Well, you know, I actually one time, you know, at the end of football career, I dressed up like Dickerson. I still ran the 7 flat.
Yeah, but that
40.
was Barry Dickerson, your butcher. You look good in white, by the way.
Thank you very much. And this man's going for 100.
Flanker screen that didn't work at all as Brisby nailed by Griffin, the veteran Griffin on that right corner, not fooled a notch.
Don Griffin's in man-to-man coverage, so that little fake toss the other way doesn't get him at all. He's looking at the receiver the whole way, comes flying up on the drop by Drew Bledsoe and makes a solid tackle.
So when you see something like this with the defensive back, is this something that he read in the film that he knew that it was going to happen? Because as soon as Brisby made that stop, he was gone.
I've never seen New England run that play, but there was no disguising it.
3rd and 7. Bledsoe can't get it through traffic to Brisby, and it'll bring up 4th down. Fans not happy with the way Brisby was manhandled, but this is indeed a contact game.
You know, what I find interesting about that series, they got Curtis Martin back in the game, having success, and they were running the ball well, and they got away from it. In the first half, he was running the ball, having success, and all of a sudden, Drew Bledsoe is dropping back every time to throw it.
You don't have to pass, you know. If you being a quarterback, know that. You don't have to pass.
And, you know, sometimes they fall into that trap because they got this quarterback, Drew Bledsoe. He's so exceptional, you just got to let him keep doing his thing, you think, sometimes.
The punt from O'Neal to Keenan McCardle at the 11. Former UNLV star returns to the 15. A 44-yard punt, 5 return. You're watching the NFL on NBC. Out of Miami of Florida, the first player selected in the 1987 draft by the Tampa Bay Bucks, Vinny Testaverde, finding a home in Cleveland. And today, against the Pats, 5 for 6 to the left, 5 out of 5 down the middle, most of those little dump offs, and to the right side, 5 to 7. Talk about distribution. Totally contrary to last year's approach, always to the right, pick half the field and play only half the field. He comes out throwing to the right and walks open the tight end, Harold Bishop, who spins for about 7 yards.
Well, Philip, let me say something to you again. You tell me about a right-handed football team.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns to the left.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns to the left.
Big
more
plays
yardage to the left.
Yes, we said that. Big plays to the left.
And all
right.
that junk stuff to the right.
Well, you notice there was a good example of it right there again. When Vinny moves, it's almost always to his right, and they're shorter passes when he's moving.
Yeah, but they don't accomplish much.
17 for 19, Testaverde. Flag down as Horde finds a big hole up the middle and rumbles, and this is his kind of running, carrying half the team out to the 40-yard line. And now let's check the flag. Motion against the Browns.
Well, the motion is against Leroy Horde. He is the guy that moves.
19-yard run by Horde nullified.
You see Leroy Horde right.
We will see that. Let's wait for the call.
2 fouls on the offensive team. We have motion on number 33 in the backfield, who moved while a man was in motion. And we have the tackle on the right side of the line of scrimmage, uncovered. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
See the tight end coming across here in motion, and watch Leroy Horde flinch. He sees the defense. He knows he's got a good play called here. He can gain some yards. A little too anxious. 2 guys moving at once. It's always a penalty in this league.
And the other one is the uncovered. That means that the lineman is an eligible receiver, so you have to have a receiver or a tight end or a wide receiver up on the line of scrimmage or a back. So when he's uncovered, he's in illegal formation.
Second down, a short 9. Wide open over the middle is Frank Hartley, one of the tight ends, and he gets the ball right where it was when Horde was tackled on the previous play to the 40-yard line, 23-yard play.
Vinny Testaverde is showing such good patience and letting the plays develop. He drops back here, and you'll see Leroy Horde come across the middle right there short, but the linebacker takes him. Vinny waits, throws over the top to Frank Hartley for a nice gain. Today, he has made the right decision on every single throw but one.
Hartley almost 270 pounds at tight end. Substitute English teacher a year ago. Horde gains 2 on his own effort. Terry Ray from a talented football family. His brother Darrell, a defensive back with the Jets for 7 seasons. Ray moving into that starting spot vacated by Harlan Barnett, who went as an unrestricted free agent to Minnesota.
You know, Dick, we talked last year with Cleveland about Vinny Testaverde, where they only gave him a half the field, a third of the field to work with, and not give him too much. And now with the people that they have, I mean, I haven't mentioned Andre Rison but once, but you can't imagine, folks, what Andre Rison is doing to this defense. He makes them play honest defense. So now Vinny Testaverde can go anywhere he wants to go.
Rison to the top of your screen. Second and 8. Gain of 3 for Horde, tripped up by Chris Slade. 3rd and 5. Only 6:45 left now in the 3rd quarter.
The one thing I said at halftime that the Cleveland Browns must do is run the football. 2 things: run the football effectively and score with it. Also run the football and run the clock out. Now they've done pretty well with both of those things. Leroy Horde running the ball. Now they're going to go into the passing mode because it is 3rd down and about 5.
All right, look at the formation. Phil, tell us what you think here.
Well, let's see here. If I was the quarterback or the defensive player, I think he's going to throw it to the right side.
Going left.
Now he's going left.
Don't ever change your decision. Don't listen to Maguire.
I should know better.
Take it true or false. First instincts are usually correct.
That's right. You know what they did there? They made the defense think they were going left. They got 3 receivers that side. They singled up Michael Jackson. Vinny again, Paul. A little half row to the right, throwing that short pass for the 1st down.
You know, what a difference. And again, we're not crazy up here because you're seeing this whole picture. But the offensive coordinator, Crosby, is there, and he's very happy. But the thing that Andre Rison does to this thing, it makes the defense play honest. And then you can get a guy like Michael Jackson one-on-one, you can have a field day.
1st down at the New England 48. Over the middle, and look at that hit. Recovers, a flag is down. As Walter Reeves in that quartet of tight ends, all of whom weigh over 240, many over 260.
You know, I don't know if this is uncovered again. They're going to know they're moving. They got an injured player. Reeves over the middle. I mean, this catch, watch the catch. The catch is perfect, and then, bam, look out. When you whack a guy, Terry Ray is the man that's down. That hurts.
Cleveland leads 14-6. Timeout. That 1st down catch by Walter Reeves called back, illegal motion.
Here's the reason why it was called back. Watch Andre Rison. He sees the tackles uncovered. He moves up, but the problem is the tight end is in motion when he still is moving towards the line of scrimmage. 2 people moving at once again nullifies the big play.
Ball marked back to the Cleveland 48-yard line.
Yesterday, when we were having the meetings with the Cleveland Browns, I think about this right now. We saw Steve Crosby, the offensive coordinator. He came in, the Cleveland Browns, and was talking to us and smiling. Vinny Testaverde was smiling, and now I'm starting to understand why. They were very confident to move the ball against this team.
Hartley in motion. Give to Horde. Horde dragged down from the backside by Chris Slade at the 45 of the Patriots. Good gain. It'll be 2nd and 8. Look at the total yards today. Cleveland effective with the pass. 270 yards total. New England better balance. It was Cleveland's running game that concerned Bill Parcells a year ago, and now he comes back with almost a perfect passing day for Testaverde.
Leroy Hort just limped off the field. Lorenzo White went on for him, so we have to check him out.
Testaverde 19 for 21. White tackled in the backfield. Willie McGinnis, the #1 pick of the Patriots last year from Southern California, made the stop. Loss of 1 at the 46. The 3rd down and 8.
Steve Everett getting up a little bit slow. You know, this again, I still have to believe the Cleveland Browns can't be happy with the way they're running the football. They've got to run better than this to control a football game, I think.
Yeah, that's right, Paul. You know, but last year, Paul, they really weren't a good running team last year. Not as good as everybody thinks. So they're trying to get it on track, but it's just not working today.
Vinny Testaverde calls time on 3rd and long. The Browns lead 14-6. 4 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. Looking down on Foxborough Stadium and providing today's shots from above, the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. The Goodyear Blimps are now in their 4th decade of live sports coverage. This crowd trying to spur the defense for a stop on the Browns. 14-6 Cleveland. 4 left in the 3rd. The Browns 3rd and 9 at the New England 46. Incomplete. No flag. Broken up by Ricky Reynolds. Keenan McCardle, the intended receiver.
Vinny Testaverde is really upset. He's at the umpire saying, hey, man. Ricky Reynolds grabbed him before the ball gets there. Keenan McCardle, number 87. The blocking is there. The pass is there. The arm is around his waist. That should have been called. You cannot touch a receiver when the ball's not there yet.
Tom Tupa to punt. David Meggett inside the 10. As high as the top row, and Meggett. Fair catch at the 8-yard line. You're watching the NFL on NBC. And we hope you'll always join us at 12:30, our regular time, for the NFL on NBC. The latest breaking news today, you would have learned there's no evidence of a salary cap violation by the Dolphins regarding Marino's stock purchase. The Raiders lawyer said the NFL's lawsuit against the Raiders was a sneak attack. They'll fight back. And the video company Sega, they want Sanders to sign. Why? Because Christmas is coming and they want to know what uniform he's going to be wearing for their marketing.
Oh, such headaches to have as a player.
Oh, yeah.
14-6. The Browns lead by a touchdown and 2-point conversion as Bledsoe deep in his own end. Over the middle. Oh, a circus catch by Will Moore. Welcome Will Moore to the NFL. He's been making those catches up at Calgary for the last 3 years.
Wonderful progression by Drew Bledsoe here. He's looking for Meggett out to the right. Doesn't like him. Being coaches covered. Comes all the way back for Will Moore. Wide open. What a catch. They said he had good hands. There's another look extended all the way out. Getting both hands on it and pulling to his body.
In the highlight reel in this first game. 12 yards on the play. Incomplete. He had Meggett break a late hit, and that's going to cost Stephon Moore. Curtis Martin out of the backfield.
You know, Bill Parcells said something to you the other day. I don't like stupid players. Here comes Stephon Moore. Watch this here. Wow. I mean, that Martin's there. There's no reason to even go near this guy. I mean, like 4 steps.
Personal foul. Number 27 of the defensive team for a late hit after the pass was incomplete. That's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
Bill Parcells said, I don't like to have a team with any stupid players. He said, well, you know, we got a couple of dumb ones in there.
That's right.
But I'll tell you, that is a dumb play.
Yeah, that really is, because they got away with something. The receiver was uncovered and wide open. Drew Bledsoe overthrows him, but then you give it right back with a penalty.
First down on the penalty at the 35. Play action, Bledsoe. In the middle to Coates, the tight end. First down at the Cleveland 48. Eric Turner, the tackler.
Watch Pepper Johnson here in the middle. He runs, he sees Ben Coates. Drew Bledsoe throws it on a line over the top of the shoulder of Pepper. He can't turn around and react to it.
The umpire did a good job.
Yeah, Pepper is bad. He went back to the official. He said, "Get out of my way, man. I'm trying to make some coverages." Al Conway, the umpire, get out of the way.
Bledsoe with a flag down to Megan. And the speedy little running back wide receiver has what would be a first down if not taken back by penalty. Banks and Langham make the stop.
Bill has to be upset there. Drew Bledsoe saw the receiver going across the field in motion, and he still snapped the ball before he could get set.
Now, instead of a first down, this is the call.
The wide receiver on the offensive team was not set at the snap. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
You see the penalty. What happens here? The receiver is moving. This receiver was moving too. Drew knew. He sees him. For some reason, he go ahead. He snaps the ball without letting both receivers get set before the snap count.
To be set at least a second. Megan in motion. Bledsoe through the hands of Coates and then through the hands of Will Moore. They were both in the same area.
I got to believe that this pass was for Will Moore and not for Coates, because Drew Bledsoe is looking to his right. And when he's looking to his right, that's Will Moore coming to the inside. Now here comes Coates coming from the left side. His left side coming across. Now watch, Coates reaches in, but you see Will Moore behind? Neither guy catches the ball. You just got to believe when he's looking to his right, he's looking at Will Moore, and Coates is there. He gets in the way, shades the ball. Will Moore can't make it.
Second and 15. New England trailing 14-6. Make it on a draw, gets to midfield. Rob Burnett wraps him up along with help from his backers.
Phil, I got to ask you something. You know, you brought up a great point when they were running the ball with Martin, and then all of a sudden Martin's not in the ball game and Meggett's in there again. Now if they're going to throw the ball, I can understand it, but the way they were running, why stop?
Well, I'll tell you what happened. They hit a pass play, and they get their play calling seems to go with the emotion of the game. They try to keep it going once they hit a pass, and they get away from the run sometimes because of that.
Moore and Kevin Lee to the right with Brisby split left on 3rd down and 12. Up the middle to Coates again, and the big guy from Livingston College has a first down. 17 on the play.
What a tremendous read by Drew Bledsoe. He reads blitz. He sees Coates. He's looking at Pepper Johnson is to his outside. Stephon Moore is to the inside, and he knows he's got Pepper right at the beginning on Coates. No chance for Pepper Johnson to cover him.
Coates caught 96 last year, first in the AFC, 6 more than Andre Reed. He has 5 today for 71 yards. Final minute, 3rd quarter. Curtis Martin. And the rookie, who started with the Panthers at Pittsburgh, gets it to the 30-yard line, a gain of 4. Pepper Johnson makes yet another tackle in that Browns defense. Bledsoe, who will join the ranks of the married next May. Break a few hearts on the way. 40-some million contract. 2nd and 6. Megan. They don't throw it ahead. Instead, they go upfield. And it's Vincent Brisby. That'll be close to a first down as the 3rd quarter comes to a close. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. To the 4th quarter we go. 2 touchdown throws. Testaverde to Michael Jackson. 70 yards in the first, 30 in the second. The difference in the game, 14-6, as New England has driven inside the 25 of the Browns. Bledsoe has yet another first down, and again it's to Will Moore. And this is where the Cleveland Browns play their best football. Many teams get down close, but so few reach the promised land against the Browns. 91, 33 touchdowns. Then they reduced it by 4, back up a notch. But last year, only 22 touchdowns allowed. Only 13 of those through the air. And that's a credit to Bill Belichick.
That's right. If you can't run the football in against this Brown defense or any team defense he coached, you're going to have a hard time scoring.
First down play from the 13-yard line, and Curtis Martin holds it down to the 10-yard line. The entire defensive center of the Browns there to meet him. 2nd and 7.
Well, New England's been down here twice in the first half. Came away with 6 points.
To the 3-yard line both times.
Cannot afford to come out of here with less than 7 and go for 2 and make the 8 and the tie this ball game. They don't need 3 points.
Yeah, they were one of only 5 teams last year, New England, not to make a 2-point conversion. And we're ahead of ourselves.
Yes.
Megan in motion. They throw to him. Incomplete. Ball thrown behind the receiver. Tough chance. Pepper Johnson was right there.
One thing I've noticed in this second half, if you follow Dave Meggett, the ball is going in his direction to him or the wide receiver. This time he went around to the right in motion. He's been going out in the flat all day. This time they change up. He breaks inside, and the ball's not tipped. He has a chance to get down to the 1 or 2 yard line.
That was Dan Footman who had that big left arm up and may have gotten a piece of it.
Guess who was covering Megan? His pal, the guy he hadn't talked to in 2 months. Pepper Johnson. 3rd down. They've got to score a touchdown.
Intended for Vincent Brisby, and on comes the field goal team. So that's 3 times deep in Cleveland territory, and the frustration to the Patriots. Another field goal attempt.
Well, you hit it right on the head, Dick. You're talking about down here and you're down by 8 and not getting a touchdown. It still means that they're going to have to score a touchdown in order to win this game. They're going to be down by 5 if they make this. This has got to be discouraging.
Barr, a 28-yard attempt. Hooks it just inside the post. It's 14-9. Welcome back to the land of the Patriots, southwest of Boston, almost equidistant from Boston and Providence, Rhode Island, this Foxborough Stadium. As the Patriots draw within 5. Plenty of time left in the 4th. O'Neal to kick it off. Bates and McCardle are deep. It's McCardle gets a good bounce, 25, 30, and out to the 33-yard line.
One of the reasons why this Brown team is so good down in the inside the 20, they play a defense called Red 2. Watch the corner here. The safeties, they just drop back, read the quarterback, Drew Bledsoe, and when he reacts and looks at a player, they react up. And watch how Don Griffin right here sees the ball coming, comes around the receiver, and knocks the ball down. We said, and we just talked about it, Paul, you have to run the ball against the Browns once you get inside the 20.
Especially when they're sitting in a pass defense, and you know that they're sitting in there. You've got to run the football. I agree.
You see Belichick, not just the head coach on the sidelines, he goes right to the chalkboard coaching that defense. Testaverde throws behind Michael Jackson, who was open at the 45-yard line.
That's the first bad pass I've seen Vinny throw the whole day, where he had a receiver open and didn't throw it on time and stick it in there.
Yeah, but he walked up to Michael Jackson. He just said something to him. Something we rarely see from Vinny Testaverde, especially last year. Now he's taking it upon himself. If they're going to run the wrong route, I'm going after him. And I kind of think that Michael Jackson was supposed to hook up inside, and he didn't do that.
Yeah,
Jackson having a career game, 135 yards on 6 catches, 2 touchdowns. And time called by whom?
Timeout. New England.
Well, the Patriots have to spend a timeout. Perhaps the men on the field weren't there for Bill Parcells. We'll be right back. Oh, you awakened this morning to this incredibly wonderful football day in the mid-70s. Hardly a breeze, hardly a cloud to be found. 14-9, Cleveland leading New England. 2nd and 10 Browns at their own 33. Give is inside to Ernest Biner. There was one of those wham blocks or boing blocks.
Yeah.
Tight end in motion and taking on the nose tackle.
They call that a bong block, where you get the offensive player to come inside and bong on the nose guard right there, wins the battle and gets a few yards.
That's a B-O-N-G, block on nose guard.
There you go.
What's BIM? Is there a BIM?
Back in motion.
Oh, okay.
Block the inside backer. I don't know.
3rd and 7. Patriots defense crowding the line of scrimmage. Testaverde chased out of the pocket, and he takes the sidelines at the 36-yard line. The 2nd sack, and give it to Chris Slade. Slade, number 53, led the Pats last year and the year before. 9 sacks a season ago, 9.5 2 years ago.
I'll tell you, the sideline is the best defense you've got. That gives you your 12th man. Testaverde rolling to his right, no place to go, no place to throw, because the coverage was perfect downfield. He runs out of bounds.
Tom Tupa's 4th punt. Dave Meggett back at the Patriots 20-yard line. Dying spiral, Meggett at the 28. And well covered by the Browns, who overall were the best special teams team in the NFL a year ago. Timeout. 12 minutes to go. 14-9 Cleveland. New England's, well, you're a math major, Paul Maguire, at the Citadel. What do all those numbers mean to you?
It'll be 16.5 minutes with the ball, 3 field goals, over 230 yards. That's not very good offense. You need to put the ball in the end zone.
Bledsoe comes out throwing on 1st down. Hits Ben Coates, and the tight end gallops to the 47 with a 1st down. 16 more yards for Coates.
Excellent job again by Drew Bledsoe, letting this play unfold. Ben Coates goes down, drives the defensive back off, and makes the catch. Once again, you see excellent protection. Lets Drew step up and really fire the ball. Pretty easy catch when it sticks to your chest.
6 catches for Coates, 86 yards. He's still a major contributor. Underneath to Coates again. That one good for about 6 in front of Pepper Johnson.
You know, this is a tough coverage for a defensive back on Ben Coates. Now you've got Pepper Johnson, number 52, covered Coates. He goes to the inside. They release it to the outside. Pepper Johnson has a man-to-man. It's almost an impossible coverage.
Well, you remember yesterday Pepper said they kept throwing the ball at him, and he's going, Bill, are you trying to tell me something here that I don't cover that well or what? And Bill said, no, don't read anything into it, Pepper.
2nd down and 4. Meggett with a little motion and a delay. Trapped by Footman, gets away, and at least gets back to the line of scrimmage. Remember how well Cleveland defense coached in the 2 games last year by putting Banks over him, jamming him on the line of scrimmage. Are they not doing that today?
I have not seen that today. Ben Coates is getting off the line free. There was a good example the play before. Wasn't even a defender over the top of him. And a lot of that has to do because they're putting Meggett to his side, and he goes out on those routes, and they're uncovering Ben Coates to try to cover Dave Meggett.
So what Meggett does for the other players on the team is what Risen is doing on the Cleveland side. Makes everyone else better.
That's right.
3rd and 4. And he throws this one perhaps deflected as Carl Banks shot through and hit Bledsoe as he delivered.
Boy, that ball just went up in here. I mean, he had his man open downfield, and he was trying to get the ball, I think it was to Brisby downfield, and Banks just drills him. Number 58, inside, nobody to block. Look at Banks. Bledsoe sees his man, and bam! I mean, that ball gets hit by Banks' arm, and then he takes Bledsoe down. Great defense.
That might be a bong. I don't know. It's so hard.
Big ball. Bang.
But what has to be disappointing right there for New England, they kept everybody in to block. Ben Coates, their best receiver in there, and they still don't block him.
New England had a chance for the offside, but did not snap the ball, and now the flag goes down, and the Patriots will get a delay of game.
You know what I don't understand on this play? And I'm telling you, I know Diassi's the center.
5-yard penalty.
And what happens on a play like this, as soon as he sees that man, he can feel him. He's right next to the center. Snap the ball. Makes no difference. Just snap it.
Steve Diassi, who is the specialist for New England.
Soon as, I'm sorry, Dick, but as soon as he sees that defensive man who's right on top of Diassi at that time, he should have snapped the ball. They'd have gotten him in a neutral zone, at least in a neutral zone, or offside. He didn't do it.
Now Pat O'Neill to punt to Keenan McCardle. He really hit this one too well. And into the middle of the end zone. So it'll be Cleveland at the 20-yard line after a 52-yard kick, 32 net for O'Neill. Mad about you. That's how Paul Maguire feels about Phil Simms.
Hey.
But, you know, we got to bond together. That's what the season's all about. But that's just another way of saying that in 2 weeks, make Sundays your night for fun on NBC. Mad About You moves to its new night. It's Sunday at 8, 7 Central. It's must-see TV on NBC Sunday nights in 2 weeks. Cleveland Browns, New England Patriots. Testaverde against Drew Bledsoe. And Testaverde's on this time only 4 throws. One has been intercepted. Hardly with that block, and Lorenzo White tripped up. Troy Barnett down with an arm to cut down Lorenzo White.
You know, you really can't say enough. Bill Parcells said when we made all these changes, 7 on offense and 6 on defense, 13 guys out of 22, new faces in the defense and offense, that they're better. These are better players. Roberts, White, and Barnett have done an excellent job. The 3 guys up front, Dick. I think they really have done against the run and forcing the pass.
2nd and 7. Quick hitter to Biner, able to dig his way out of one tackle and move within 2 yards of a first down. Out at the 28-yard line, Barnett and Brown make the stop.
This is still a running down. They got to take some time off the clock, and they've got to establish the run in this ball game in order for the Cleveland Browns to win it. They can't depend on this defense with the arm of Drew Bledsoe to stop them time and time again. They've got to keep the ball on the ground and pick up the first down. And they've been telling us all through training camp that this is the best offensive line the Cleveland Browns have had since 1980. Now they have to prove it.
3rd down and 3. Testaverde running out of room, and he's sacked for the 3rd time. Reggie White and rookie Ted Johnson share the sack.
I don't agree with this play. I didn't agree with it in the last one. Testaverde coming out here. You cut the field down to 1/3 of the field. You're running everybody this side. You're bringing all the defense over here. You're running out of field. There's no place to go and no one to throw the ball to because the defensive backfield is all on your side of the field. And I don't care how good his arm is, he cannot throw it all the way back to his left.
This is the 2nd consecutive time 3 and out for the Browns. The only time it's happened for either team in the game. Tupa. Very short this time. Meggett says get out of the way. Don't let it hit you, teammates. And it's down at the 50. So great field position for the Patriots. When we come back, 50 to go. Trailing by 5. 8 minutes left. Boy, it's great to look down into this Foxborough Stadium and see all that enthusiasm. Parcells has brought hope back. Overhead coverage courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. On board today, Captain Esch and cameraman Bob Rosedale. Thank you for your excellent pictures again, gentlemen. From the 50-yard line, trailing 14-9. 8 minutes, 9 seconds remain in the 4th. Bledsoe in the middle to Coates. Good for 4 yards. Pepper Johnson, another tackle. 8 catches, 97 yards for Coates, and Dave Meggett comes in with a play.
This time you'll see Ben Coates. It's a zone by the Cleveland Browns. Ben Coates comes underneath. Pepper Johnson reacts a little late, comes up, makes the tackle after the completion of the zone. Banks did try to slow him up that time when he got off the line of scrimmage, but still Ben Coates came inside and was able to get down the field.
Gave him progress to the 45. It's 2nd and 5. Coates again. Oh, that ball flopping around and almost picked off as Benny Thompson, number 37, thought he had the interception.
Don't you love Benny Thompson? He hands the ball to the official. I did have it. Well, we're going to see. Did you have it or not? It was a real quick read by Bledsoe, the coach. The ball goes in. Here's Benny Thompson. The ball's on the ground, Benny.
He got it on a one.
Benny,
got it on one hop.
Benny, don't lie to the official.
Good outfield play, though.
That's right. Thought he was a shortstop. One hop, throw it to first.
3rd down and 5. Look at that yardage. Dead even. 2:32. Testaverde and Bledsoe.
Oh, Beggar's up by himself.
But a great open field tackle by Benny Thompson to deny, in fact, a loss of a couple yards.
And you don't go for it here, Dick, for one reason. Your defense is playing extremely well. I mean, look at Cleveland. The last 2 times they've had the ball 6 plays, a total of 5 yards. They had to punt twice. Give them the ball back in their territory. You've got plenty of time. There's just coming up on 7 minutes. You still have 2 timeouts in the ball game. Let them play defense.
Don Griffin joins Keenan McCardle deep. No pressure. End over end. Fair catch. And McCardle at the 13-yard line. 34-yard punt. Looking forward already to next week, gentlemen. We will be in Texas Stadium to see Elway and the Broncos against Aikman and Emmett in the Dallas Cowboys. It all begins 12:30 Eastern. It's our doubleheader week. Boy, it's going to be the week of the quarterbacks. How about Marino and New England early?
Now, this game last year, that Miami-New England game, what, 800 and some odd yards between these 2 guys? I mean, Bledsoe, Marino, and then we get Elway.
I want to know if Aikman and Elway can play as well as these 2 quarterbacks here have today. So I would think the chances are pretty good they will. But
you see that the Browns offense stumbling a bit here the last 2 possessions. They give this to Leroy Horde, and he charges for about 5.
You know, the one thing about Leroy Horde running with the ball, Dick and Phil, every time I watch this guy, and I had the opportunity to do their preseason games, his feet never stop. I mean, that's what makes him the great runner that he is. Different than a Pro Bowl last year. This man loves to run the football.
That was a 2-yard gain, and really his effort in moving those feet and pushing the pile made it into a 7- to 8-yard gain.
Officially 7, 2nd down and 3. Fake. He wants to go long, but it's covered, and he throws incomplete to the sideline. Oh, he trapped that one. Now, the officials are going to overrule the call, the initial call. Head linesman saw it. He was blocked, thought it was a catch. The referee comes in, says it was trapped. That was the right call. They helped themselves better than they used to. 20 years ago, you called the play, and that's the way it was.
Yeah, that's right. Now these officials even told us last week they will get together, and if one makes a mistake, they'll try to talk the other one out of that call. And that was a good example of it right there.
And here he goes. Folks, you see it. You judge it. Look at this ball. That's on the ground. That is on the ground. But I can't believe the call.
I heard you crowing on that.
Well, you get 7 yards, Phil, and then you're going to throw the ball again? Timeout, Cleveland.
Testaverde calls time on 3rd down and 3.
Paul, what they were trying to do on that last play, they were trying to put the game away. They thought they'd catch New England aggressive up front. They were going for the big pass play, and it backfired.
Bill Parcells said that the quarterback's the key, and I want a quarterback who is a fighter. And he looked at you, Phil Simpson, without saying a word. I paid you a high compliment. I mean, you guys did fight. You fought with each other, and you fought to win.
Well, we actually fought a little more than we probably should have, but I think the thing about Bill, and we were at practice Friday, and he said he's happy with his team, the way they practice, the way they work, but he didn't know if he had any flag bearers on his group. He wanted a couple players to step out in front and lead this team, and he didn't feel like he really had it on either side of the football.
Well, that's not to say that Bledsoe isn't. Bledsoe is a leader because he's a quiet leader. And Parcells realized you don't have to yell at this guy to get things done. He will get it done for you.
Big play. 3rd down and 3. Testaverde to the sidelines. Wide open is Jackson, and the man of the day has another reception and a 1st down at the 42, a 22-yard play. And the all-time yardage game for Michael Jackson.
This is a two-deep coverage, and look at the ball Vinny throws to Michael Jackson. He throws it over the top of the corner, and the safety, because it's thrown so hard, can't get over there to get there before the ball is there.
Myron Guyton can't get there. Now, Maurice Hurst knows he has help, but watch this. Right between. This is the best throw. Even though he has 2 touchdowns, Testaverde's thrown it. This is the best throw Philly's thrown all day.
That was a 100-mile-per-hour fastball right there.
157 yards for Jackson, a career game. And first down as the clock runs 5.5. In the backfield, Horde, wrapped up by Ted Johnson, the 240-pound rookie from Colorado, makes another big play. They liken him to one of the greats here in yesteryear for New England, Steve Nelson. Young man from Carlsbad, California, was selected in the 2nd round.
Dick, you know why the Patriots are so effective against the running game here? Because the Cleveland Browns, they really, with this team that they have right here, without Ernest Hunter and the young guy, they don't have a guy that can get outside. They can't run outside. So the Patriots know that this team is going to run inside, and so they're jamming everything inside.
Testaverde goes outside with a pass to Jackson, but he and Hurst have a incidental contact, and Jackson really hadn't had a chance to look at the ball. So let's take last year's playoff game, the wild card win in Cleveland, 2013 Browns, and today. And look at those numbers. He has enjoyed playing against Parcells' defense.
Yeah, he has. He's just wishing they played these guys a couple more times a year the way he's throwing the football. But right there was another example. New England, even though this is an excellent set of receivers Cleveland has, they're not afraid to blitz and play in that man-to-man coverage.
3rd and 11 from the 41. Safety blitz, but a very late effort. Testaverde has to throw it away, and the crowd loves the defense. They played their best ball in the 4th quarter. Last year down the stretch, New England in the 4th quarter, the defense was very stingy. This is a typical of Parcells' coach team. Make it back as Tupa punts for the 6th time. 3rd time in this 4th quarter. Good kick. Mega driven back inside the 10. Can't find a crack. Tackled at the 15. 52-yard kick by Tupa, 8 yards in the return. Ed Sutter, the tackler. All right, Phil, you've been there. Down by less than a touchdown. Plenty of time, 4.5 minutes, and you jog onto the field after a chat with Parcells.
Well, right here as a quarterback, you got to think, or you're thinking in the back of your mind, this could be my last chance. So what you want to do is be a little careful, not take any chances, and just try to move the chains. Take the short passes, and if the opportunity arises to throw it deep, then you do it.
Don't get too greedy too soon. Down the middle, open is Brisby. First down at the 32. Stevan Moore makes the tackle.
Well, what you're seeing again is no pressure on the quarterback by the defensive line of the Cleveland Browns, and also excellent pass protection by the offense. Now Brisby comes across. Watch how long this pattern takes to develop. He comes across, and then he's wide open. There's nobody in the middle of the field. If you're going to throw against this team, throw in the middle.
First down. Bledsoe forces one into Coates, who had 3 men surrounding him, including Mike Caldwell, who got a hand on it, number 56.
Well, we were saying, you just said, Paul, throw it over the middle. Well, Cleveland that time put their defenders inside and was trying to make New England go outside with the football. Almost a big mistake right there.
Stops the clock. 3:58 left in the 4th. Cleveland 14, New England 9.
Cleveland go with 3 down linemen and 2 linebackers. You've got to send somebody else.
Inside handoff to Mason. Didn't fool the Browns. A couple of yards for Super Dave. Mike Caldwell, number 56, on the hit.
I said you have to send somebody else. They did. You know, they sent the corner. Don Griffin, number 28. He's the guy that forced Meggett to run inside into Caldwell, the linebacker. So they did what they had to do. They had 3 down linemen, and if they're not going to send a linebacker, you better send someone. They sent a corner.
3rd and 8. 3:28 to go. stop, 11 yards.
What a throw by Drew Bledsoe. You see the single coverage out here in the bottom. He sets up. He's going to throw it across the field. Tight coverage. But Don Griffin still can't get there and make the play.
Boy, you talk about Marino on the quick release. How about this kid? Isn't he right there? And then he gets rid of it. First down, wide open. Sam Gash, the fullback. No one covered him. And Gash is all the way to the 25-yard line.
Sam Gash is right here. He's just going to go out in the flat, and just Drew Bledsoe's going to drop back and throw it to him. Cleveland's defense is confused. It's not Dave Meggett, so nobody pays attention to him down the sideline for a big play. Bill Belichick said they won't throw the ball to Sam Gash 5 times all season. That's 2 plays today we've seen.
That was a 30-yard gain. 14-9 Cleveland. 3:05 left in the fourth. Inside handoff to Martin, the rookie. And up to the safety spot is Harry Turner, but he couldn't get him either. And Martin stops the clock, ducking out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Gained 3 out of something that looked as if it would lose a couple.
I don't want to master the obvious, but if the Patriots, for whatever, if they do score a touchdown, they will go for 2.
Let me just make a point here on Curtis Martin and what he might mean to New England this year. Last season, New England did not have a single 100-yard rushing game from a back. And in his first game in this league, Martin has 101 today. Plenty of time. Out of the backfield. It's the tight end, John Burke. Burke makes the catch shy of the first down. Pepper Johnson, who must have about 20 tackles today, has another. Well, Burke was hurt earlier.
This offensive line, Dick, has just done a tremendous job. I mean, they're just not even close to Bledsoe. Look at the time he has. All the Cleveland players are on the line of scrimmage. Here goes Burke down the line. He just gets some cramps. Pepper Johnson is right there on him. He gets a cramp in his leg. But when you look at the protection, watch this. Look where the white shirts aren't. They aren't in the backfield. That's where they aren't.
That's the key, because Drew Bledsoe, this was his 3rd receiver right here, and still he throws it to him, and nobody is still at his feet.
Well, we haven't mentioned much about Max Lane, number 68, the tackle who replaced the starter, Pat Harlow. But the very fact that Bledsoe has had good protection today reflects well on how Lane, who played at the Naval Academy, has worked today.
Well, that's right, and I thought that was going to be a big point in this game. Pat Harlow out, Max Lane in, against one of the better defensive tackles in the National Football League. Defensive ends, and Rob Burnett, he has really not gotten near Bledsoe today, and Max Lane has done a wonderful job.
This whole offensive line has done a wonderful job.
They had a lot of repetitions last year, so they got good at it.
No sacks against the Bledsoe. 3rd and 3. First down, and it's Meggett who gains the yardage. Ticking down toward the 2-minute warning. 5-point game. And New England has a first down at the Cleveland 12.
They're all looking for pass. They're looking for pass. And Bledsoe said, wait, why pass? I got Meggett. If I want to throw it to him, I can. But it's easier to hand the ball off to him and pick up the first down. Again, this offensive line, New England, they're just doing exactly what they want to do.
No play, no play. The 2-minute warning signal given. When we return, New England needs a touchdown to take the lead. Bill Parcells and Drew Bledsoe. It was Parcells and Phil Simms and Bill Belichick, the defensive coordinator, when the Giants captured Super Bowl 25. 2 of the championships shared by those 2 men who are now rivals, who started today in total distrust. You know, when you know so much about each other, you know they're going to try everything on you. And they were feeling each other out through us as to, what do you think he'll do here? Is he going to start him there? Well, now it comes down to the final 2 minutes and the game on the line. 14-9. Cleveland. Bledsoe off play action. Plenty of time, and he throws it away. Brisby was in the end zone and well covered. Belichick, the defensive whiz. Parcells, the motivator, and more geared toward the offensive side.
I just loved watching Bledsoe the last 3 years and his progression, Dick. It's how much this young man has matured. I mean, this is 3rd year, and here he is down here in one of their first game of the year, a very important game. They all are, and he just sits back there. They're down. He throws the ball away.
His calmness in the pocket is just incredible for a 3rd-year guy.
Pressure from Barnett. Underneath and complete to Megan. There's Pepper Johnson and Stephon Moore there to cover.
Well, I'll tell you what, that time Sam Gash goes out and Carl Banks was all over him. Right. Sam Gash is not going to sneak out of the backfield again and get a freebie.
We talked about up here that they might try to sneak a run in there because this is 4-down territory. But they've got down inside here, and they're going to win or lose this game because of their quarterback now. They're not even going to take a chance running.
They wouldn't run here now? Even though they still have 2 timeouts. Cleveland only has 1. Would they run?
No, I don't think so, because even if you fool the defense, you're only going to get 6 or 7 yards, then you got to go on 4th down. The pass might get it all in one play.
Over the middle to Coates, trying to carry Pepper Johnson into the end zone, and he drags him to the 3-yard line. That's going to be close to a 1st down. Coates gets 2 extra yards on his 2nd effort. They'll have to measure. Time called for the measurement with 1:36 left in the 4th quarter.
You know, we talked about Coates yesterday, and he says, I don't want to catch the ball 10, 12 times a ball game. Yeah. I guarantee you, when they're in a situation like this, Ben Coates, watch this catch. Now, watch the yardage afterwards. 1, 2, 3. He's hit by 2 people, 3 people, 4,
not just
5,
people.
6.
Pepper Johnson and Eric Turner, the first 2. Those aren't ordinary people.
2 of the biggest hitters on the field.
Got 4th down and short, and now, Phil Simms, 4th down.
Oh, well.
Now do you run? Do you take a chance on running now?
I think you got to run the football right here. I believe they'll do something, get in a formation, maybe spread them out and try to trick them with a run inside. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. That's the highest percentage of getting this play and converting this 4th down.
Belichick sends in only 1 replacement, and that's a linebacker, Gerald Dixon.
So they're expecting that basically to pass. And you say they'll run.
I would think they have to run. They got Sam Gash in there.
4th and a foot. Sneak by Bledsoe. Did he get enough? They'll mark it.
He's got to get inside the 2.5.
Yeah, it's going to be close. Now this is the game. Cleveland takes over and runs out the clock. 14-9. New England 1st down. They've got 1:14 to win it.
Well, we thought they were going to try to win it with Drew Bledsoe's arm. Now they're going to try to keep it going with his legs.
Oh, that was a tough spot.
Well, I'll tell you, that is a tough spot. Right there, if they make this, it's by the nose of the ball. And that's all, folks.
Oh, it does. It looks very close.
If they make it, it's the nose of the ball. Let me see the nose.
Look at this right here. The lineman all far out. Drew Bledsoe trying to get around. Slides to the left, and well, I tell you what, he needed a generous spot to get that 1st down.
That continuous effort gave it to him.
Clock is running. 1 minute left in the game. This is Megan. Stop at the 1. 55 seconds. And Bledsoe lets the clock go. They do have 2 timeouts.
But right now, you want the clock to run down. They got 2 timeouts. They can stop it whenever they want. If you score, you want it to be the end of the game. Give Cleveland no chance of coming back.
This drive, you want to score right now. They're about the end of the game.
Yeah,
how about right now?
This drive started way back at the New England 15. Now it's inside the 2. 2nd and goal. To the goal line. Stopped. No. Yes, no. Touchdown. Curtis Martin, the rookie, has scored. New England leads. Curtis Patriots in the NFL, and now has scored the go-ahead touchdown, and the Patriots go for 2, leading 15-14. Only 19 seconds remain.
Cleveland has to call a timeout. They only have 10 guys on the field right now. 2 guys came off. Pio Sangapolitelli came up, and Benny Thompson.
And that means they have no timeouts left.
Good surge by the New England line right there. Looks like he's over, but they don't give it to him. Second effort, reaches out. A lot of smart playing by this rookie today. I mean, that's a veteran move to stick the ball out over the line of scrimmage.
Hold it just a second. When does this guy stop? Now you think about this. Here he goes up over the top, and he's pushed back. He is stopped.
His forward progress has stopped.
It stopped right there. He does not have the touchdown. Now look at it. Is he stopped, and then he can reach it over?
He is if there's no whistle.
That's right.
You're absolutely right. So Cleveland, the double penalty here. One, they see a touchdown in the final seconds, claim the lead from them, and then they have to use a timeout, so they have no timeouts left when they do get the ball with 19 seconds.
That could be important, that timeout. A kick return, give them one extra play where they can throw it down the middle and try a long field goal. But now without that timeout, that takes that option away.
A dramatic 85-yard drive in 14 plays, 4 minutes and 10 seconds to give the Patriots the 1-point lead, and now the 2-point conversion. Megan squeezes it in. 17-14.
Dave Meggett does something here. He's not going to jump. All he's going to do is go underneath everyone. Meggett is coming right at you, and look what he does. They see him, now you don't see him. He just ducks his head down. He's underneath everyone. He's in the end zone. What a beautiful run.
Something they didn't do all of last year, the 2-point conversion and the new acquisition. Look at this crowd celebrating this resurgence in New England.
You know, Dick, and you talk about there's the owner, Mr. Kraft. Is he happy? But you talk about 13 new faces offensively and defense. 7 on the offense, 6 on the defense. As Parcells, you give some credit to the coaching staff. You bet you do. I mean, he put these guys together, had all the confidence in the world. He said, hey, look, I think I know what they're going to do. I'm pretty sure I know what they're going to do. Maybe I don't know what they're going to do, but he found out today what they were going to do, and that is try to win.
Well, when I think back to that drive, the one person he knew that was going to come through for him this year probably was Drew Bledsoe. 3rd and 10, he throws a great out cut over to the sideline. To me, I look back, that was the biggest play of the drive.
Well, he threw 400 completions a year ago. He's got 30 to start the new season. Line drive to McCarty. McCarty to the 40-yard line, and now to the 45 on a good return. The clock stops now with a tackle at 12 seconds. Now that timeout is important.
Boy, is it ever. They're going to be wishing they had that timeout, but because now they can't throw it down the middle of the field. The game would end with the completion inside.
Or if you threw a deep one down the field, get your field goal, at least get the tie.
Dick, the one thing about prevent defense is what they will give you, especially with no timeouts, it's easy to say, they will give you the middle of the field because they want you to throw it there. You can't get out of bounds. They're going to stop you from that. If we take a look at down the middle of this field, you're going to see it. It's going to be open, but you can't throw there. You got to worry about getting outside. But with Testaverde's arm, only needs one shot.
Triple right formation. Ryson and Jackson are there. No, Ryson is to the left, and that's where Testaverde looks first. Down the middle, incomplete through the hands of Derek Alexander. It was Alexander who broke Cleveland's collective hearts in the playoffs at Pittsburgh a year ago, failing to make those catches, and that one was right there.
It wasn't going to matter, though, because of no timeouts. The clock would have run out right there if he'd have caught the ball. He wasn't going to be able to get out of bounds.
6 seconds, and now it's Testaverde's very strong arm trying to get it all the way toward the end zone and hope for the miracle catch. This 60,000 sellout, every man and woman, child on their feet as Testaverde winds it up for the final throw. There it is. intercepted, knocked down by New England. The Patriots have won 17-14. What a way to open the season. Well, for Bill Parcells and the Patriots, it didn't look good early. Michael Jackson with 2 big touchdowns, 70 and 30 yards for the Browns. Testaverde outplaying Drew Bledsoe, but in the second half, as they did late last year, the Patriots suddenly slammed the door defensively, and New England able to master and muster, wins it by 3 in the final seconds. This is a portent of 1995. Do we have an NFL season to enjoy? Once again, the final score, the Patriots 17 and Cleveland 14. For Paul Maguire and Phil Simms, I'm Dick Enberg saying so long from Foxborough. Stay tuned for the NFL on NBC postgame report coming up after the